Championship leader Jamie Jenkins has converted his heat win into pole position, and not surprisingly Jonathan Lister has managed it as well. Excellent qualifying from Mark Craddock and Brian Trott. Championship rivals Phil Ingram, he starts in 7th, Kieran McCullough in 10th. Well, we're rolling round with the start of the first final. Tension mounting. Control of the grid is passed over to Jamie Jenkins. Lister looking at his feet, trying to see when Jamie's going to drop the hammer, and he's dropped it. We're racing. Jamie Jenkins gets the whole shot into the hook. We're on board with Kieran McCullough. Allwood's just past Phil Ingram, but it's side by side. That's not decided yet. But Allwood's got the inside for Surtees. Miller inside of Craddock for 4th place, but it's side by side. Yeah, Miller's through. Butler's on the wrong side. He's going to go round the outside of Mark Craddock. I don't think that's going to happen. Miller's over the curb. And McCullough's inside of Butler. Allwood slides past Miller and Craddock. Great move from Oliver Allwood. He stepped it up this weekend. So Craddock and Miller side by side into the Dell. Which way is it going to go? It's going Mark Craddock's way. Miller's lost out, and here comes Kieran McCullough. Well, I can't see what Brenton Miller's complaining about. That seemed fair enough to me. Trott to the inside of Lister, into Raymond's, and he's through. Trott up to 2nd. Darren Teal putting a move on Dan Butler. Great start from Darren Teal up to 10th. Butler going backwards. Around the Hook complex. Pinch point on the exit. O'Connor and Clackett disputing 15th place. Kieran McCullough going for 6th as Craddock runs wide into Surtees. He hasn't got it done. Mark Craddock's coming back at him through Mac Werters, and Kieran's got to be careful. Brenton Miller's on his bumper. Through Chandler's, charging down to the Dell. This is the battle for 6th place. Craddock, McCullough, Miller, Chris Powell joining in. Darren Teal not far away. On board with Kieran McCullough. Has he got a run on Mark Craddock into Raymond's? Craddock has a look. Here comes Kieran McCullough. McCullough through to 6th. Can he get it nailed down? Here comes Brenton Miller as well. Will he hang out Mark Craddock at the hook? Yes, he will. Craddock down to 8th place. Battle on the back here. Palm V in the jar. Carl Tebbett, Lee Clackett. Goes Clackett's way for now. That's the battle for 17th. McCullough and Miller just pulling out a cart length on Mark Craddock. Chris Powell lining up Mark Craddock if he can for 8th. Up front, Jamie Jenkins has got a half-second lead over Brian Trott, but Trott is closing in. Here's the battle now. It's just beginning to join. Brian Trott only competing in a limited programme this year. Double heavyweight champion in Club 100. Returning to form as he begins to reel in Jamie Jenkins. And he's moved on to the bumper of Jamie Jenkins. We have a battle for the lead. And Jenkins knows he's there now. They're pulling clear of Jonathan Lister, who's under pressure from Phil Ingram. And Ingram goes through with Chandler's. Reigning champion Phil Ingram up to 3rd in the first final. Allwood under pressure from McCullough. Kieran looking to get a good line and get a run on Oliver Allwood down to Raymond's. And here he comes. He's picking up the toe. Will he pull out to pass? Yes, he will. Kieran McCullough up to 5th, but he went a long way in. It's a drag race down to the hook. Allwood, who blinks first? There's contact. McCullough's through. And Allwood's immediately under pressure from Brenton Miller. O'Connor to the inside of Anthony Teal, couldn't get it done. Mark Craddock holding off Chris Powell. Teal to the inside of Peter O'Connor. He's taken that position back. Teal back to 13th. Brian Trott in the blue, moving in. He pulls out to the inside, Trott down the inside. He went a long way in on the brakes, and he loses out on the exit. Classic Llandow racing. And McCullough's already moved on to the bumper of Jonathan Lister in 4th place. Here comes Trott again for the lead. Can he hold it this time? I think he can. McCullough up to 4th. Well, let's see if Jamie's got anything for Super Bright. Well, Trott's clearly quicker through Chandler's. Miller in 7th, ahead of Allwood. Chris Powell has managed to pass Mark Craddock out of camera shot. Well, 2nd place in this final wouldn't be a bad return for Jamie Jenkins. His immediate rivals in the championship, Phil Ingram is 3rd, Kieran McCullough is 4th. So it would still be a net gain for Jamie. And this championship will be decided by a narrow margin, I'm almost certain of that. Battle for 6th, Miller, Allwood, Powell, gap to Craddock and Teal. Chris Powell, you can't get much closer to Oliver Allwood. Now Jamie's closed in on Brian Trott. Perhaps this final isn't over just yet. Battle for 5th. Miller was half a second faster on that last lap. Here he comes, up the inside. Opportunist move. Mugged him in the middle of the hook. Miller to 5th. Lister not finished with it yet though, but he's got to be careful. Chris Powell is on his bumper. Jonathan Lister pokes his nose in at Mac Werters. Can't make it stick. And Powell's over on the curb. Allwood is back through and up to 7th. And Powell now sat on the nose of Mark Craddock. All that work to do again. Of course, Craddock's got problems of his own. Darren Teal is sat on his bumper. Craddock forced to go narrow. Teal to the inside of Lowcombe. That's 12th place. And O'Connor's coming with him if he can. Lowcombe fights it out round the outside of Anthony Teal. That's a brave move. He's made it work. Teal tries again into Surtees. Lowcombe gives him room and consequently has the inside for Mac Werters. Oh, and Lister is over the curb. He tried to fight it out round the outside of Allwood and it's going to cost him big time now. Teal is through, Craddock is through, Butler's coming with him. Well, he started the lap in 6th. I think he's going to be at least down to 12th as Lowcombe and Teal have mugged him as well. And he better be careful. Pete O'Connor will be through if he can at Raymond's. You can see in the background Lister reversing down the field. Battle for 10, side by side, it's the Teal brothers. Oh, and there's contact. Darren's over the grass and he's collected Dan Butler. And that looked like a big one. A heavy side impact, they're the worst kind. Well, racing continues. Anthony Teal's got a problem with his kart. Well, let's take a look back here. Side by side, the Teal brothers going in. Contact between the brothers. Oh, and that's a big one. Well, Anthony's going to have some explaining to do to his brother and possibly his dad, Keith. Okay, let's reset this field then. Brian Trott's got a half-second lead over Jamie Jenkins. They're 2.5 seconds ahead of Phil Ingram. Kieran McCullough's 3/4 of a second further back. Brenton Miller, Chris Powell, Oliver Allwood. Then there's a big hole where Dan Butler and the Teal brothers were. So Miller has Chris Powell for company. Oliver Allwood, still an excellent final run here by Oliver Allwood, running in 7th. Can Chris Powell close in and pass Brenton Miller? He's moved up to the bumper. This is the battle for 5th place. Craddock clear of Lowcombe, O'Connor, Najjar, Clackett, Lissider, Simons, Anthony Teal. His cart's back running now, and it looks as though Simons has run wide. Simons will lose out on 14th place. Dare he go side by side with Anthony Teal? Well, he does. A little bit more circumspect there from Anthony. Powell unable to close that last half cart length. Needs a mistake from Brenton. Allwood just trying to hang on. Looks as though Chris is quicker through the back of the circuit. Can he get a run down to Raymond's? This is as close as he's been for a few laps. Here he comes, Chris Powell to the inside of Brenton Miller. Block pass. Holds Miller up behind him. Good move from Chris Powell. Now can he hold it? Battle for 13th, Jonathan Lissider. Stu Simons on his bumper. Lissider must be disappointed going backwards through this final. Simons is through. Can he hold it? I don't think he can. And he's going to lose out to Anthony Teal. Would he be sent down the curb? Yes, he will. Oh, and there's contact in the group ahead. Oh, and it couldn't have worked out worse for Lissider. He had to go round the outside at Chandler's as Palmby has dropped it off. Final lap for Brian Trott. He's got a 1 second lead over Jamie Jenkins. 3 seconds ahead of Phil Ingram. And Kieran McCullough trying to close down to take the 3rd place. Simons loses out to Tebbit at the hairpin. Seems to be struggling. I wonder if it's brakes, if he's losing out into the hairpins. He's back through into the hook. Battle for 8th place. Mark Craddock, Mark Lowcombe, Peter O'Connor. Time running out. Oh, and O'Connor's put it over the curb. That's the end of his challenge. On 9th place. Here it comes. Brian Superbright Trott showboating into the hairpin. It's a great win and a return to form for the former champion.